Alright, hey guys, how's everybody been? Sorry I've been on here in a while. First things first, I made things a little easier. Changed my channel name to TKJ Fishing, so it'll be a little easier to find than searching my whole full name. No reason for spelling errors, I guess. First thing we got today. Big Joshy had a new swim bait this year for the show special called the Tiger Gilly. Pretty slick little bait there to replace the LMB fry they had last year. I really like this one, so I'm hoping I do pretty well on it. Troy Becker's been out there tearing them up, so we'll see how we do. Then I stopped by Nasty Nate's Baits booth. Got some new stuff to try out for crappie this year. The last couple of years I've been getting more and more into crappie. So I got these were a show special here. That light's pretty bright, messing it up. Like a translucent with a chartreuse head, some blue flake in there. See how much the crappie like them. And then we got some red and white ones of the same kind of bait. I don't know exactly what he calls these, but it looks like they'll work good for crappie. I also got some of their 32nd ounce heads. Guy said these are a favorite for using with these, so we'll try them out. And here's another one I'm really excited about, skater baits. So these are their own design here. I wanted to try some new stuff that I'd never seen before. What did they call these? These are some tough packages. There we go. So they look pretty slick to me. So you got a small tail there. Also, all of their soft plastics, except for I think one or two, he said, were rigged to float. So you can pretty much Ned rig any of this stuff. I got these to try flipping and skipping around docks and up in the banks. They got, it's kind of high on the top. You see there's like a concave in the belly there. And so you Texas rig it, you'd put it out the top, you know, put your EWG hook coming through the belly and out the top here. But he said if you flip them upside down with the concave up, they kind of flutter as they're falling. So I'm going to try rigging them up with a, I don't know, 1/8 ounce to 1/4 ounce tungsten weight depending on the conditions. I also got them in a good spring color. And that's skater baits. That's not all I got from them. I also got some Ned worms from them. So we're gonna check these things out. I like Ned rig fishing, but these are pretty cool here. These are, like the belly of them changes color with the light. So like almost like a purple. I thought that was pretty slick. Kind of reminds me of the mud minnow, but you got purple and gold flake in there. So those should be pretty slick, and they float, but they're not that real stretchy plastic Z-Man uses that kind of, you know, melts over the course of the day fishing with it. I'm not a huge fan of the Z-Man plastics, to each their own. I also got these. And these are like a, these are his design, like the first bait. And they completely float too, so you can Ned rig those. Simple design. Good bright orange with some like black flake in it. So that'll be fun to Ned rig up around the rocks this spring. I also got some new jigs from a company called Beat Jigs. Now what these Beat Jigs guys do is they use a, I forget how they worded it, but the eyes on their jig heads are really big, so they don't fill with paint. I feel like that bigger jig head would really add some action to the jig. Whether you do a Rapala knot or use like a real small, like I like the VMC snaps. The real small ones, I feel like I get a lot of play and that bait can really do its own flicker and back and forth. It's a little freer to move. Like a lot of people, to get more action out of a lighter bait, will use like, 4 to 6 pound line crappie fishing. I don't change up my line size. I use 15-pound braid when I'm using a spinning reel, and it goes straight to a 14-pound leader fluorocarbon. And using those snaps and hopefully using these jigs, I get all the play you're going to get out of a 4-pound line. Maybe it sinks a little faster. I don't notice the difference fishing alongside a guy who's using 4-pound line, and that's why I use braid for my main line. The castability is just like using 4-pound line with something lighter. But when you hook into that accidental catfish, or a big saw guy, or something you weren't expecting, you got a better chance with the fight, and it's easier to free your bait up when you snag onto something. If you got stronger line, you can kind of rip out of that grass and lily pads. Let's see, what else did I get here? Oh, Mr. B, Bob Peters out in Mount Orab, Ohio, makes these spinner baits. Now, I don't know if you guys seen the spinner baits I was using last year. I really like single spoon spinner baits. I feel like they got more of a thump. The single Colorado blade. These ones have I think you said it's called a cupped spoon. I never really paid attention to what the difference was and what they're called, but I guess that helps add to the sound of the thumping. So I got some of those in 1/8 ounce and 1/4 ounce. So I use them for saw guy. And wouldn't you know, they say they're for white bass, walleye, and crappie, so maybe that's a thing already. So I got a few of them. I guess the reason I like the single Colorado blade is I feel like when some people like to put as many blades on there as you can for flash. I feel like it's kind of like, think of talking in a room. If all the blades make a thumping sound, you've got some people over here talking and some people over here talking, and you got one guy talking louder, that big blade. The sound coming off that is not as projected as it would be if it was by itself, like if you're alone in a room talking louder. I feel like there's more of a definitive, even thump. And I feel like I could fish them slower and keep that blade rotating, and I could feel it through the rod when I'm using a single blade. So it's just my preference, it's my opinion. You guys do what you want to do. This is what I've come to like, and I was excited to try these out. And then of course I got some Rapala Tiny 4s I picked up. I love these little flat side square bills, man. You can't go wrong with those. And that's about it. So hopefully we'll get the boat in here in the next week or so, and I can try some of this stuff out, and I'll let you guys know how it goes. And for those of you guys that like to steelhead fish and trout fish, Robalize has some new stuff I took with me today. If you guys haven't seen the Ninja Net video, check the Ninja Net out. You guys, I got a discount code TKJ15, get you 15% off your order on Robalize.com. They've got some new colors in the mercurial beads, along with the new Okie Drifter. You can go over to his channel at Robalize and check those things out. And that's it for today. So wish me luck when I get out there, and we'll see how this stuff does. I'm pretty excited to try some of this stuff out, and we'll see you guys on the next one.